Well, the school year has officially drawn to a close, and with it comes the first exhale I've taken in what feels like months. My classroom is all packed up, the final grades have been sent out, and for the first time in a long while, I can hear the sound of my own thoughts again. This week's vlog isn't just about the books, it's also about the shift from schedule to stillness, from managing 72 curious and rambunctious fifth graders to managing the sprawling to-do list of a house rehab project that my wife and I are knee-deep in, and which, to be honest, is still in a deeply unshareable state, though footage may come eventually. But for now, we will focus on the books. This week, I finished one, continued two others, and read a classic children's novel for the very first time alongside my students. As always, we will begin at the end. Network Effect by Martha Wells. Frankly, I adored it. Network Effect is the fifth entry and the first full-length novel in Martha Wells's Murderbot Diaries, a series that centers on a security android who's hacked its own governor module and now spends its time binging soap operas and awkwardly protecting humans who keep trying to befriend it. This novel sees Murderbot pulled into a situation involving a kidnapped human crew, an ominous alien artifact, and, spoiler alert, a surprise reunion with Art, the snarky, sentient research transport ship from Artificial Condition, the second novella. It expands the universe in terms of scale, but it never loses that tight interior voice that makes the series so special. Thematically, Network Effect digs even deeper into the question of autonomy, not just physical, but emotional. Can a being like Murderbot form meaningful relationships? What does loyalty look like when it is chosen instead of programmed? There is action, to be sure, and plenty of tension, but at its core, this is still a book about what it means to care about others when you just wish you didn't. And I've got to say, it might just be my favorite in the series so far. I wasn't sure the longer format would work. I'd heard that it doesn't, but it absolutely does. Murderbot's voice carries the whole thing with zero drag, and it sets up future adventures brilliantly. I will have more to say in a full review soon, but for now, 5 stars, no notes. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. We wrapped up our final read aloud of the year with Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and I have a confession to make. Not only had I never read it before, but I've never seen any of the movies in their entirety either. I was familiar with the broad strokes, of course, the White Rabbit, the Tea Party, the Queen of Hearts, the Cheshire Cat, but I'd never sat down and read the actual text or witnessed any of the films from beginning to end. And now that I have, all I can say is, meh. The story, for those who are unfamiliar, follows a young girl named Alice as she tumbles down a rabbit hole and wanders through a bizarre and nonsensical world populated by talking animals and aggressive playing cards and madcap logic puzzles. It's whimsical and surreal and defiantly untethered to narrative conventions. And while the journey itself is wildly inventive and full of charm, the destination left me annoyed. I don't think I've ever seen a more deflationary ending, and it retroactively sapped much of the magic out of it for me. That said, reading it alongside my fifth graders who were captivated by the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat and outraged at the injustice of Alice's trial, it all did give the book a certain communal joy. Carroll was clearly writing with children in mind. The humor is playful, the rhythm is bouncy. But as an adult reader coming to it for the first time, I felt like a carnival goer trying to enjoy a ride that just was not built for me. Still, I am glad I read it. It's always worth meeting the source of so many cultural references face to face. Salt, Sugar, Fat by Michael Moss. I have now crossed the halfway mark in Salt, Sugar, Fat, and I'm several chapters into the fat section. What continues to astonish me is just how sneaky fat is in processed foods. Unlike sugar, which you can taste immediately, or salt, which gives food its punch, fat is more elusive. Moss explains how it often functions as a mouthfeel enhancer. It rounds out texture, gives food that unctuous creaminess, and triggers pleasure responses in the brain without announcing itself overtly. And food scientists exploit this. Fat is the stealth bomber of the processed food industry. It delivers its payload while flying just under the radar of conscious detection. And because it doesn't saturate the tongue the way sugar does, you are less likely to actually hit a natural stopping point. Moss presents this with a clinical clarity. His background in investigative journalism just shows here. Each chapter reads almost like a deposition, carefully sourced and quietly damning. And while the subject matter could easily veer into the dry or the moralizing, it never quite does. It remains readable and compelling, even when the truth it's unpacking is deeply uncomfortable. I hope to finish it this week. The Crow Road by Iain Banks. I'm not quite as far along as I would like, but I have reached the 25% mark in The Crow Road, and I can already tell this one is going to leave a lasting impression. The novel follows Prentice McCohen, a Scottish uni student grappling with questions of death and faith and family history. At the center of it all is the mystery of his missing uncle Rory, who vanished years earlier and may or may not have left behind clues to his whereabouts in his writings. But really, this isn't a mystery novel in the traditional sense. It's a family novel, a coming-of-age story that drifts in and out of memory, mixing dry Scottish wit with raw emotional vulnerability. So far, the themes have revolved around loss and obsession and the quiet tensions that exist within large families, especially the ones that never get fully spoken out loud. Prentice is at this stage in the book obsessed with his cousin Verity, and while that dynamic is certainly as awkward as it sounds, it's rendered with enough psychological honesty that it avoids feeling exploitative or even creepy. Banks's prose is often lyrical, but always grounded. There's a warmth and a texture to his writing that makes it feel lived in. Again, I'm not yet sure where this is all heading, but I know I can always trust Banks to take me somewhere worth going. So that was this past week. The books keep coming, and now the days stretch out, no longer confined by lectures or lunch duty. I've started running every morning, shoes pounding pavement, air thick with the Florida humidity. I'm hoping to lose another 15 pounds by summer's end, but we'll see. There will inevitably be nights with pizza and birthday parties and the occasional regrettable dessert, but the goal is consistency, not perfection. And then there's the house, a fixer-upper we're slowly turning into something somewhat resembling a home. Right now, it looks a bit like a crime scene from a home renovation show that got canceled mid-season, but progress is progress, and I will try to capture at least some of it on video soon. Oh, and we also got a new puppy. He is a 16-week-old standard poodle in cream, and we named him Watson. He's lanky and bright-eyed and already far too clever for his own good. He has figured out how to sit and how to guilt trip us with those big brown eyes. It's been a whirlwind adjusting to a new routine of crate training and early morning potty breaks, but he is an absolute joy. Expect to see him pop up in future videos. For now, thank you for being here. Thank you for reading alongside me in your own corners of the world. If you have read or are reading any of the books I talked about today, please let me know in the comments. I love hearing your thoughts and interacting with all of you. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, over here are some other videos that you might also like. Why not give them a shot? Otherwise, I will see you in the next one. And hey, happy summer.